and welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avantes, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Zerotio.
What is up, gang? We just got past Turkey Day, and it looks like Christmas is sneaking up on us. The holidays are here. We actually got some snow in East Tennessee. Not much, but it was enough to turn the ground white for maybe an hour here. I think it was a little longer up by you.
Yeah, we had snow on the ground for a day and a half. It was nice.
Yeah, we pretty much got about an hour of snow on the ground, and then the sun came out and burned it all up. But it showed up, and I left work with some snow flurries in the air, and then it died, and then the next morning it snowed, and then it melted real fast. So yeah, I mean I would like to see a little more snow. It looks like a lot of our northeastern podcast friends and family are getting blanketed pretty heavily.
Yeah. That's the problem with where we live in this valley between the plateau and the mountain is that it just goes around us usually.
Yeah, or gets stuck. It gets stuck in the basin in Nashville and then doesn't actually manifest through the mountains. I know here we have the mountains down in Chattanooga, just west of Chattanooga, and it breaks every storm up.
Yep.
Which means we usually don't see snow unless it's absolutely like, shut school down for like 4 days snow. Then we'll see that snow, but that's about it. We don't ever see the light snow here, unfortunately. But other than that, kind of just playing Hearthstone, playing video games.
How was your week? What did you do in Hearthstone this week?
Well, before I get on my week of Hearthstone, I will say you and I kind of play another game. We'll go off tangent here for a second. Marvel Strike Force, and they have some big news and patch around the X-Men coming out and X-Men characters, and a lot of drama with what characters are coming out, which is always a good time because anytime there's any kind of stirred up emotions about a release of anything, which we've just recently saw in Hearthstone, it brings out both bad and good, but it brings out a lot of passion in the player base, and we're seeing that in Marvel Strike Force. Big shout out if you do play Marvel Strike Force and need a guild, holler at us, shoot us a tweet at HeroPower_cast. We got some spots open.
We do have a couple of spots open for some Strike Force players.
But talking about going back to Hearthstone, my Hearthstone week's been good. I've been testing out a myriad of decks, and then I just kind of went, I just want to play. I don't want to worry about achievements anymore. I don't want to dilly-dally on all these really new kind of decks we're seeing with Yogg and N'Zoth, which is fun, but usually after about 2 weeks, I just want to play a good deck that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So I settled on Pure Paladin, which we're going to play this week, and we'll talk more about that in the second half of the show, because while there's not a lot of new cards in Pure Paladin, there's a big reason to play it right now. And again, we'll talk about that in the second half. But I've shot up. I think I'm Diamond 3 now.
Nice.
So I kind of went on a tear win rate and shot up the ladder. And we'll talk about it in the news. They made some hotfixes that gave us some XP. And Friday I hit level 35 and I got the 20 XP boost.
Okay.
And I think they pushed out the hotfix while I was getting that, because my client kind of locked up when I was trying to pull up details on the reward track and crashed.
Okay.
And when I relaunched it, and I had just gotten level 35 from finishing my quest for the day. When I relaunched the client, boom, I hit 36.
Okay.
So I got a chunk of XP, and now I'm currently 37. Again, I went from 35 or the end of 34 all the way to 37 after I'd finished my weekly quest. So I didn't have like a big chunk of XP
of experience quests to turn in.
Just from daily quests. So And now I've hit
and
another...
time spent playing, because you spend a lot of time in the client playing the game.
I do, and I actually was doing some testing too. Kind of a side note, I did a heroic run, and then I sat at the treasure selection screen, and I just let it go. And I came back every now and then, moved my mouse, selected things, opened up my friends list, dropped it. I wanted to see, I knew I'd get some XP for the first game I played, but I couldn't get back out to see what XP marker I was at, or I'd have to choose. So I left it there, and that does not count. You literally have to be playing a game. So I was doing a lot of experimenting of not being in a game and letting my client do different things to see where I might accrue some XP. Yeah. And from my calculations and from what the numbers I took, you literally have to play, which I've had some bad experiences with that. I'm hoping they change that somehow, because I've played a lot of opponents that literally rope every turn, and sometimes I play opponents that do nothing and rope every turn and eventually get kicked out of the client, and I think those might be bots.
Yeah.
And that's, if you can game the system that way. I wish it was you got a set amount of XP just for playing a game, and if you win, maybe you get a bonus percentage, like an extra 10% for a win, but you, regardless, that way it's all about just finishing games. Now, obviously,
right.
There's some sources that have calculated that, I think it was Hearthstone Mathematics, that calculated that you actually get more XP per hour if you play control decks vice playing aggro decks, because yes, you're playing more games. There's more time in between your games for queuing up that you don't get XP.
Yeah.
So the fact that the reward system and the XP system kind of makes you want to play a certain style of deck, and pushes in that direction, I'm not sure if that's the intended outcome. And I expect that Blizzard's getting the numbers, and they'll eventually curate it in a way that, and fix it in a way that it'll be better. And we'll talk more about that in the news. But the long short of it is I'm at 37. I think last week I was at what, 30?
I think you just hit 33.
Yeah, I think it was just at 33. So I'm averaging 4 to 5 levels.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to die off as I go further. It does make me worry, because at this rate, if they do any kind of bonus XP events like they said they were going to, I might hit 150 before the next set comes out.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I'm playing for nothing. I mean, I'll be playing for my own personal enjoyment, and I will personally be fine with that. But a lot of other people play more than me.
Yeah.
Let's say a lot. There are some
streamers may play more than you, but yeah.
Yeah. I played to the level of a streamer, to be honest.
Yeah. You probably play 5 or 6 hours a day.
I would say I average 5. I mean, obviously on weekdays, I'm probably only getting 3 to 4 hours in, but on the weekends, I'll play as many as 10 to 12 hours in a day.
Yeah.
So, it really, I think you're right. It probably averages out about 6 hours a day.
See, I'm only playing maybe an hour to 3. On a weekday, I probably only play about an hour. On weekends, I probably play upwards of 3, maybe 4 hours. Tops.
And where are you at on the track?
So last week, I think I was somewhere around 26, 27. And this week I am halfway through 32. And I still have my daily quest for today to do. I have not done that yet.
You're 31 going to 30.
No, I'm 32 going to 33.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. You're only 5 behind me, which, to be honest, since I actually hit an XP boost at 35, that's surprising to me. So,
which I'm hoping I'll hit that same XP boost 35 this week when I get my weekly quests. I spent most of my week playing in battlegrounds and duels because those are by far my two favorite modes in the game. And I actually, well, I'll tell you in just a second, but yeah, I spent most of my week playing in those two formats and getting a lot of my time spent and experience gains in gameplay from those modes.
Okay.
I know you watched. So one of my daily or one of my weeklies this week was
Yeah, you
win
had a
five
heck
in
of a
a
run.
duel or battleground, and so I spun up a battleground yesterday to try to knock that out. And I wish I had done it as a heroic duel. It's actually only a casual run, but I'm currently 6-1 in that run.
Oh, so that brought me to another thing. So I spectated you
Yes.
for like 5 games, 6 games.
All six. No, I had played one, so I'm 6-1. So yeah, you spectated me for 6 games yesterday.
I saw a XP increase during that time. It was part of my testing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's intended, and I don't know if my numbers are skewed because they were doing a lot at that time of doing giving out hot fixes,
Mm-hmm.
which we'll talk about in the news section. So I want to do it again, and because usually I try to do the same thing 2 or 3 times to see if
Yeah,
I get the
yeah.
same results, not just once. And the one time I did a spectation for, I wanted to do at least an hour. I think I went up uh, a little under 400 XPs, like 372, I think was my number, um, of
From
XP.
spectating me yesterday.
I'm spectating you yesterday.
Okay. Okay.
So I didn't time how long you were in games
Right.
because
Right.
there was a period of time where I wasn't spectating because you were drafting it. I can't see that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it
But
didn't actually.
a couple of my games went really long too
Yeah,
because they
yeah.
were. Yeah, there was one mirror match where it was mage. I was playing mage
Oh,
Mizaki.
that
And,
was
and
intense.
yeah, there were a couple of games that went really long, and then there were some games like the one I lost against Demon Hunter where I was dead in like 5 turns. So
So I want to tell our listeners, I'm not saying that we get XP for spectating. I'm saying from the data I pulled, my XP increased,
yeah,
and all I had done is spectate.
yeah,
Now I might have gotten that XP from something else. I don't know. I need to do more testing, but I will try to do that
yeah,
when I have time and see if I can get that information because I don't know if because in a lot of things I don't know if the client knows the difference between spectating and playing for some things.
yeah.
Um,
So the other thing that I did this week in Hearthstone was I logged into my Smurf account for the first time in over a year. I
good
had
dude.
not been on that account since sometime in 2019. It was before Battlegrounds came out because
Yeah.
I had to do the Battlegrounds tutorial and everything on this account. It was the first time I'd logged into it. And I was curious, as I don't have a whole lot on that account. It's like I said, it's a Smurf account. It's and so I logged in and I did about 4 battlegrounds yesterday afternoon on that account or yesterday evening. And after the very first battleground, I think I got a top 4 finish on that one, and
Nice.
I went from level 1 on the rewards track to almost level 3 from the
Wow.
experience gained in the time playing. And then I did another one and lost really quickly and didn't notice any movement. And then my third one, I got another top 4 finish, and that got me into level 3 on the rewards track. So I've not completed any quests on that, just from playing Battlegrounds, and I'm already up 2 levels on the rewards track on that account.
Yeah, I think it has information that we've gotten in the past from the devs has says that time in battlegrounds do give you a little more than time in a constructed match,
Mm-hmm.
and that would make sense because we have other avenues of getting XP in a constructed match for achievements, things like that.
Yeah,
And there's more achievements. I mean, there are some for battlegrounds, but not to give the amount of XP that they do. So
right.
I could kind of see that. Plus, one battlegrounds match could take forever,
Mm-hmm.
and one ladder match you can just get right back in and play another one real quick. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
get that. I will say this: you're only 5 levels behind me right now, and I will. One thing that I'm bad about is I'm not good about optimizing my quests. Sometimes I'll get a really good, 1200, XP
Yeah,
quest,
yeah.
but it's playing 3 classes that I just don't feel like playing.
And keep in mind that 1200 is at
Boosted, yeah,
20% boosted. So like for
yeah.
me right now, those quests are only 1150, and for somebody else, I think
Yeah,
for
I
somebody who
think it's
doesn't
11.
have,
I think for me it's
it's only like
1190.
900 or something.
Yeah, for me it's 1190 now, so just
Okay.
under 1200.
So I want to talk about that because I do roll to optimize my quests. If I
Yeah,
have a 900 experience quest or anything under 1150, I'm going to usually re-roll those to try
yeah,
to get an 1150 or higher quest. And with my weekly quests, I'm re-rolling my weekly quests as well. One of my weekly quests this week was uh, finish. What was it? Finish with 4 or more arena wins, and I re-rolled that.
no,
I re-rolled that into win 5 games in duels or battlegrounds or whatever
nice,
because
nice.
I'm way more comfortable in that format.
Yeah,
So I am very much re-rolling quests to optimize for experience gain.
the problem I have is they put a thing in the past that some of the harder quests or the more XP quests are a little more specific,
Mm-hmm.
and they reward more XP. So like play with 3 classes.
Right.
If you re-roll those, they will always give you one of the lower, easier to complete ones. So if you re-roll one of the play 3 classes, you're always going to get something like draw 50 cards, draw 20 cards, or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
simple, and those are significantly less XP,
That's true. They are.
like under 1,000.
Yeah.
So I kind of lose my optimization on XP just for playability for me. I don't want to play a class that I don't feel like playing at the time
Well, see,
just to get the
I
extra
don't have
XP.
that problem. I will play any class as long as the experience bonus is
Yeah.
high.
That's a difference between
Mm-hmm.
how we
Play
enjoy the game.
styles. Yeah.
Yeah. I can and do play all 10 classes. I've got 9 of them in golden, or 9 of them past 1,000 wins.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to it, I prefer to be able to sit down and play paladin, play warrior,
Right, because you're more
and
comfortable
maybe
with
priest,
those
something
classes.
slower. So when I get a quest that says play rogue, demon hunter, or hunter, I'm like, I don't want to play any of those. So that's just a trade-off I make personally.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to optimize, make sure you're getting those higher ones,
Yeah.
and also make sure if you do have a lower one that you do re-roll, because it can be a higher one, and it can be the play a friend quest, which gives like I think it's
1500
like
or
two.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's 1,500 base.
yeah,
So it's like almost 2,000 for me.
yeah.
So it's a really good quest. I haven't had it yet, but I've had one friend offer it to me. Howard and Dave, big shout out there. So before we get into the news, we've got what is this, the 3rd week of the progression track?
Yes.
Your personal feelings about the system after 3 weeks. How do you feel?
So okay. I know people say it really slows down after about 35,
Which
which you're just now getting there.
I just got past 30. I hit 35 on Friday, and I'm 37 on Sunday.
Right, but you also think you got an XP boost
That's
from
true.
missed experience,
Which we'll talk about in the news.
So I'm curious to, once I hit 35, which if all goes well, I will do this week. And I'm curious to see how it goes, because up until now, progression has felt great. I'm moving right along. I'm moving at a faster clip than I actually thought I would. And I don't feel like I'm playing any more than I did previously before the progression track. I've always been kind of on the casual side.
Yeah.
I don't play for 4 hours a day during the week or 10 hours on the weekend. Like I said, I play about an hour a day during the week and 3 to 4 hours a day on the weekend, maybe. And I feel like you said, I'm only 5 levels behind you at this point. I feel like I'm further along on the track than I thought I would be at this point. When they said you got to get to level 50 before you start, to earn all the rewards, I was thinking, man, it's going to take me 3.5 months to get to level 50 to unlock all the rewards.
Which I think a lot of people thought that.
And now it's looking like I could hit that by mid to late January.
So I'm at 37 now, working on level 38. It takes a total of 5,800 XP.
Okay.
So if you're averaging
13,000 a week,
is that what they're saying?
Well, think about it. Your weekly quests average about 2,000 a quest. You get 3 of those. And then you get 7 daily quests, anywhere from 900 to 1,200.
So we'll say 1,000.
So 7.
That's 13,000.
13,000. I'm just going off ballpark averages. Could be a little more. Could be a little less.
I'd say it could because I'm 35 now, so I've hit a boost. So even if you haven't bought the pass, you're probably those averages are probably right. So even with me, I'm probably getting more like 15,000 a week, maybe 16.
You're right.
And then you're factoring in the
time
XP per
play
hour
experience. Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna get at maybe be working on 40 by this time next week.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the really cool Kultur and Jaina portrait if you have the pay track.
Right.
So, and then that's 10 more levels to 50. I think by Christmas I'll probably be 45.
Yeah.
And then probably be getting 50 just after middle of January.
Mm-hmm.
And again, these are all just quick estimates. I've not cracked the numbers.
Right.
And they've talked about XP events they haven't debuted to us yet or haven't told us about, which is funny. In that notice, they said they have some events that they haven't told us about, and that's their fault for not telling us about them. And they still didn't tell us about them.
They still haven't told us about them, yeah.
So, details, that is. They haven't given us details about them. So there's probably some kind of Christmas or New Year's event. There's, Winter Veil event where everybody gets bonus XP. That's usually how these kind of rewards tracks. I will say this again, just from feeling, not from getting down to the numbers and knowing how much I'm going to have squirreled away for the next set, because we don't really know those yet, because there may be bonus XP and gold we get that we don't know about from the track. I'm happy. And I know that's an unpopular opinion right now. And I have literally, because of the outrage, I have been looking for reasons to be mad about it. And there are some things I'd like to see better. I would like to see the gold rewards higher slightly. I am worried about hitting level 150 before the next set comes out as a player that plays as much as I do, probably 30, 35 hours a week.
Yeah.
But other than those two concerns, I like how it feels.
So question: you watch Regis a lot.
I do. I have been a
know
subscriber
where
of
Regis
him
is
for
on the
3
reward on the progress track?
I don't. I haven't been able to tune in on him.
I'm
think
curious
last I
if
saw he was like
anybody has hit
47.
50 yet.
I haven't seen anybody with the new portraits. And the fact that I'm at 37, I think somebody might be at like 45. We're probably going to see somebody hit 50 probably sometime this coming week. Somebody's going to post it. Because there are people that play more than me and basically do nothing but play Hearthstone all day long. So there are people that are going to get there faster than me. I know that. And I'm at 37. So that's only 13 levels, right? So there's probably somebody that's going to hit it soon. I don't know if there's a world first. it'd be nice to know that if there is. But I know Regis last I saw him was like 27. This was a few days ago. This was, well, when I saw him on the track, I think it was almost a week ago. So at the time, I was like 25. So he was only a little bit ahead of me. So I can anticipate he's probably pushing 40. I'd like to know where Dexter is, because Dexter's somebody that plays a lot of Hearthstone when he's not streaming, where Regis does primarily play Hearthstone, but doesn't do a lot of off-stream playing. Where Dexter does, because he also makes all kinds of other content and infographics and stuff. So that'd be the person I would want to see.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something I'll do when I'm watching streams this week. But overall, I'm satisfied with the system. I like how it feels. I really like the achievement system. You know, doing something in game and all of a sudden you see a little toast in the bottom left telling you got an achievement. First thing I want to do is when I'm done with my game, I want to back out and see what achievement I got.
Right.
Which kind of slows me down because I want to keep playing.
Yeah.
But the fact that it makes me want to see what it is and if it gave me XP or not, and checking that number in the top right-hand corner, which mine is currently at 11,755.
Mm-hmm.
So I got some work to do. I know Blister Guy, who hadn't even been trying, is over 12,000 now. So I need to get my achievement game up. But long and short of it is I know people are upset, and I'd love to find a reason to be upset, but just from feeling alone, and I've got like 745 gold. I would like to see a little bit more gold in my coffin.
I'm at 1,210 gold.
But you're better at duels than me. So I get into duels and get like 3 wins, 4 wins. Occasionally I'll get a 7 win if I get hot.
Yeah.
And I've totally net decking my duels decks. So it's not the decks, it's me. I'm just not great at duels. So I think if I got better at duels, and I have been only spending my gold on playing duels.
Yeah, and I just want everybody to know, since this is recorded, I will be clipping out the section of Zerotio saying you're better at duels than me, and that will be my new phone ringtone.
That is the only thing you're better than in Hearthstone.
All right, well, let's move on to the news, because we do have a lot to talk about as far as the server side patch that they released on December 3rd. It's more of a hot fix.
Yes.
It resolved multiple issues that they were having in the game. And I think, it's important to note there's a lot of stuff here.
Yes.
And that means, as you were saying a minute ago, they've been busy.
Yeah, I think I said it before we started recording. There's a lot of bugs that came with this, which is not good. But at the same time, I know a lot of people are saying that, oh, they're not saying anything about the track. They're not doing anything about this. This bug fix, this has been a lot of work. They're very, very busy. I know this isn't listed in the bug fixes, but they were having issues with Yogg and had to disable certain things, animations, so that they wouldn't cause clients to lock up and things like that. And then here they fixed an issue with receiving quests. They fixed an issue where Heroic Duels was not giving XP. They fixed a bug where Heroic Duels would not start and literally lock people out of playing that mode.
Yeah.
And all 3 of those, they're gonna be, well, they have plans to give compensation, which they said incoming, but it's actually already happened. And then they fixed a bug where Silas Darkmoon was not being rewarded. A lot of these are smaller ones that are a little obscure. They fixed a bug where the Chapter 5 Tomb of Terrors was not being rewarded if you completed it. Whizbang wasn't giving the current recipe decks. So those are 3 pretty predominant bugs. Who's playing Whizbang anymore? And then important news is they fixed the Nazmani Bloodweaver bug. Now this is big because a lot of your top players...
tell people what the bug was in case they don't know.
So Nazmani Bloodweaver, when you cast a spell, will reduce a random spell in your hand by 1. Well, it was hitting spells that had already been reduced to 0 and wasn't supposed to do that. And it was called out by Celestial Lawn right away that that's not working intended. We will be having a fix on that. So a lot of your top players, pro players, streamers, deck builders like No Hands Gamer, built these really intricate, kind of very detailed decks, expecting Nazmani Bloodweaver to work as intended, and it wasn't.
Right.
So you're probably going to start seeing a lot of Priest. I'm not yet. And, well, I say you're probably going to start seeing a lot of Priest because it's being tested. I don't know if you're going to see a lot of publicly shown lists of Priest, because I would not be surprised if a lot of these, and we'll talk about it in a moment, World Championship players are testing out the Priest decks now that Nazmani Bloodweaver is working as intended. So it might be tech we don't even see brought out and tweeted out deck lists until decks are submitted and made public. Because I think Nazmani Bloodweaver, I think Priest is going to be a sleeper kind of selection for the World Championships because of this bug. And they needed to fix this bug before World Championships. It was very important, and I'm glad they did. And then they also fixed a bug where Arena was not there were 17 Dark Moon cards that weren't showing up in the Arena pools. Now all the hotfixes are done server side, so no patches needed. And they said compensation was going to be given out, shortly. And on the 4th, the compensation, according to a forum post, so 24 hours after the bug fixes, says, yesterday we deployed fixes for quests and XP related issues. Today we are rolling out compensation to affected players for the following. Those affected by heroic duels not granting XP will be granted 50 XP per game of heroic duels played since the 19.0 update. Those who were prevented from receiving new quests due to an issue with the returning player quest line will be granted cumulative XP for all quests missed since 19.0 update without having to complete the quests. So I think on Friday when I had that kind of burst when my client went down and I launched, it was right in the middle of them posting this. And I think that's why I got that big chunk of XP, which was like a level and a half at an area where I was getting like 5,000 plus to get a level. So I probably got close to 10,000 XP from this, or maybe like 7,500. Just that's a ballpark. So that being said, with the bugs fix resolution, do we think they fix the bugs in a timely fashion, and do you think they did it right by us?
I mean, yeah. So far from what we've seen, the bug fixes I think have been done in a very timely fashion. This shows that while all this other stuff has been going on in the community, Team 5 has still been working hard behind the scenes to get a lot of these issues fixed, even if it's not the issue the community is crying about.
And mind you, California has issued another lockdown, and they're working from home with even more restrictions on whether they can leave the house or anything. So a lot of constraints on these developers for working from home. Now, the Nazmani Bloodweaver fix came out a little more than 2 weeks after the set launched.
Yeah.
So we're looking at almost a 3-week turnaround. Seems a little long, but at the same time, they got it done before it impacted anything competitively, which is important. We've had some bugs happen during competitive play, and that has been a sour taste in Grandmasters. We have a player that got relegated and lost a match because of that floating 5 armor bug. And he might not have lost a match if he was, again, it could be said he should have been taking better notes and paying attention, but the clients should be not fooling him. So I'm glad they did these before the World Championships. That's important to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Now,
Go ahead.
that brings me to my second part of the question is, with all of these bugs and with that are a lot of them related to XP, do we think the reward track was rolled out too soon?
I don't think so. I mean, you only had heroic duels. There were some issues with receiving quests, but outside of that, everything else has been working as expected.
I don't know. I think they put too much on their plate, especially with the COVID restrictions going on. I think they should have released us a new set, maybe given us heroic duels, but held this new XP system until maybe just before during our big lull time in 2021.
So do you think that with everything going on COVID-wise, they pushed the set out? They pushed everything out too early. Do you think they should have waited and pushed it out now? Like, normally,
that's fair.
The new set would be coming out this coming Tuesday.
You know that
under
I didn't think about
normal restrictions.
So because we didn't have a BlizzCon, normally we have BlizzCon, they announce it, we get Trickle, and then we get the new set in like second week of December.
Yep, which would have been this coming Tuesday.
We ended up getting the set the week after BlizzCon would have been.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the problem. Maybe they needed that extra month to make sure all these bugs and engineering can go in and fine tune it and do further testing, which is really hard to do remotely. I mean, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, we're working from home; it's easy." No, there's a lot of stuff that when you're at site and you're basically sitting on the servers, you can make changes directly and it's almost instantaneous.
Yep.
Where if you have to do it remotely, sometimes those upload times, if you've developed a package, a line of code, you then have to upload it to that server over a network. And in California, their networks are getting slammed because of their restrictions. So who knows how quickly that happens. And then they have to test it. And if something's wrong, they got to upload another change. So they don't have localized testing like they would if they were on site. And I know people, I've heard people say, well, they have more time because they're at home. No, that's not how it works. There's a lot of restrictions, a lot of issues that you don't plan for.
Yeah, just because they're at home doesn't mean they're working 24/7.
That's also true. I'm not even talking that far. I'm talking more about sometimes projects will take longer because you have to rely on network outside the building.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. Just because they're home doesn't mean at 2 or 3 in the morning when a bug's found that they jump on their computer and start working on it because they're working from home, quote unquote. Right. That's not how it works. There's still labor laws. There's still, you still have hours, which is even harder to do. So the fact that they're able
labor laws shouldn't apply to my video games. They should fix it now.
I am happy that the devs are responding so quickly, and I do think they will address the reward track issue. I think a lot of the reward track issue resolution, what they need to do to fix it, which I do believe it needs some tweaks, it's going to take data. And that means we need to log in, we need to play, we need to create scenarios that they can go back and compare to what they did first and see where they're off. They may have expected the average player base to play X number of hours and were under it or over it for some reason. So they have to tweak the XP or tweak the rewards. That takes data. And unfortunately, that means we probably won't get them to respond or address it until probably January, maybe even February. I know people don't want to hear that, but if they need more time to properly resolve an issue, I'm willing, as a dedicated player, to do that. Now, I will say this again, and a big props to Blister Guy to also kind of sharing my opinion on this, because he mentioned it specifically on his podcast, Walk to Work. You should check him out. There are some content creators that are using this issue to specifically cause fires and
Yes.
negatively impact the community. And I think personally, and Blister Guy also said so on his podcast, they are doing it to get views for their YouTube channels.
Oh yeah, it's all about clout. They're clout chasing.
Yep.
That's it.
And I and
100%.
I personally have stopped following
I
and
almost
will
called
not.
them out. I almost
Yeah.
called them out. Oof.
I personally have decided to stop following those channels. There are some content creators that are doing this constructively. I think Solemn is one, Dexter is one, Regis is one, where they give both sides. They actually do some thought into it, but basically just the screaming and hollering, "You lied to us, fix your game" mentality that, and I'll say it, Zeddy put out.
Yeah.
I have stopped following all of Zeddy's content. I've stopped following him on Twitter. I don't want to give him that support.
I'm in the
because
same boat.
I don't think
I'm in the same boat with Jay Alexander. I liked Jay Alexander, but he's done nothing but tell people to get their pitchforks and torches, and it's not helping the situation in any way.
The boycott Blizzard movement will not fix the game. Because if we stop supporting the game entirely, then the game just dies.
Exactly.
Now these people don't care because they'll just go to something else and try to make money off that.
Yeah, they'll find another way to make content. It doesn't matter to them. The game matters to us.
Now Regis and Dexter and Solemn all gave constructive opinions. They gave their own personal opinions, and they also gave some suggestions of how Blizzard could resolve it. I didn't hear that once out of Zeddy, other than he did say a couple things that, in my opinion, were Blizzard has to make money. That their game. That's another thing. The whole free to play, and I know I'm going to get on a rant here, and I'll try to keep it short. People say, "Oh, Hearthstone's a free to play game." Sure, but just because it's free to play does not mean you deserve and should get the exact same experience that me, who's willing to pay, $150 per expansion cycle, get the exact same experience. You shouldn't expect to be able to play 5 to 6 different new decks on day one of an expansion.
I want to shout out. I want to shout out.
Free to play.
I want to shout out Washing the Wind on Twitter. I posted something very similar to this on Twitter earlier today, and he replied and said, "This is the real crux of it. Free-to-play players complaining they can't have a complete set of every expansion is like people who bought bleacher seats complaining about the folks who bought courtside seats having a better view."
Exactly. That he couldn't have said it any better. Washington Wind is another person that I love reading his tweets. He's very educated and very open-minded when he comes with his opinions, and it's not just. Again, I don't want to get on a rant about Zeddy, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
Zeddy even put out a YouTube video saying, and a tweet saying, "Thank you for boosting up, having record numbers on this video that isn't even talking about the rewards system."
Yeah, the rewards system.
Because that's why you did that video in the first place.
Exactly. You're just looking for the views.
You're just looking for the views. And then he's thanking his community for continuing to support him. I think that Zeddy, which I got to give him props, he brought the issue to light. But I don't think he is doing what's good for the Hearthstone community as a whole. He's doing what's good for him personally.
Yeah.
And that's where I'll stop on Zeddy. But I agree with Washington Wind 100%. If you want to be free to play, you have to understand there's going to be a handicap. There's going to be restrictions to how far you can go. It's not pay to enjoy the game. You can enjoy the game as a free to play player, but you have to understand you're probably not going to have the same freedoms and flexibility as somebody who puts a lot of money into the game. Right. It's just like any hobby.
Yeah.
Now, we could just go ahead and I think you made a comment before. We just scratch it and turn it into the Magic system where we just stop.
Yeah, so you and I started playing Magic the Gathering in like 1994. If you didn't buy packs of cards, you didn't play that game.
No. Now, it's a little different, I think, because in Magic, you only really needed to have one, maybe two really good decks.
Right.
So you put a lot of effort and financial support
Yeah.
into those specific decks. Where in Magic or in Hearthstone, they kind of promote you to want to play all 10 classes.
Right. So it's funny you say that, because I wonder how many of these Hearthstone players have ever actually played paper Magic, where if you want to compete in a tournament with a single deck,
Yeah.
you have to buy sometimes 4 copies of cards that can cost up to $100 a piece.
You're looking at spending upwards of $500 to $600 for one tournament viable deck.
Standard tournament prices. You get into vintage prices, and you're paying upwards of $500 to $20,000 for a single card.
And which is funny, because a lot of the Hearthstone mentality in the community is they want the game to be more like a game like Magic. But the cost isn't even close to that. Now, you can even compare that to other card games, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. Hearthstone is significantly cheaper.
You know, it's funny.
It's digital.
I saw a video come across my YouTube timeline yesterday that was like how to make fast money in 2020. And it's like, go to Costco, buy these Pokemon booster bundle boxes that Costco has for sale at $25 a box.
So one card out of it.
Take out all of one type of pack, discard all the rest of the cards. Open these packs until you pull a foil Charizard, send it off, pay $25, send it off to be graded, PSA graded. When it comes back, put it on YouTube for $5,000.
Yep. I mean, it's amazing, the mentality. And I understand there's also the argument of you can't sell.
You can't sell your Hearthstone cards. Yeah.
You can't sell Hearthstone cards. And I understand that. But at the same time, I don't know. I just don't get with this whole, and this isn't just in Hearthstone. I mentioned it before. We play Marvel Strike Force, and there's right now a lot of people complaining about, oh, you have to put money in the game if you want to have all the characters or want to have the best characters. Well, yeah. If I want to be free to play, it's taking it. If I buy it, I can get it instantly. But if I want to play free to play, it's taking me 5-6 months to get that character.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, that is a choice you're making. That character's not going to be any worse.
You're not entitled to everything in the game. You have to either earn it or buy it.
Yeah, and there are games that I play free to play, but I don't expect to compete at a high level and be hitting top 100 in whatever ranking system they have and things like that. And there have been people that play free to play and have gotten top 100 legend, and they'll tell you sometimes it takes 2-3 months to get that far, because you have to amass the cards to build the type of deck. And to be honest, there are some really cheap decks in Hearthstone that do really well on the ladder, that have no legendaries, have almost no epics. So I think Hearthstone is the most free to play friendly game out there in that genre of free to play mobile games.
Yeah. I could
definitely... end rant.
Yeah, end rant. We are at 50 minutes into this recording now, and we haven't even gotten to our second topic. So we mentioned it briefly. World Championships are this coming weekend, December 12th through the 13th, which means it's that time of year again to choose your champion.
What? Oh, I thought it was choose your Bloodyface.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I just chose Bloodyface.
I just chose Bloodyface too because, well,
I want to give Blizzard some props. The choose your champion. You click the link, says start here, and they just put Bloodyface right at the top for me, so I didn't have to scroll through a bunch of other people I don't care about. So if you do the choose your champion, you have a chance to win. I think you get a pack automatically, and then you get a pack for every round they make it through.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think it ends up being like 5 or 6 packs if they win it all or something. The voting ends December the 11th at 11:59 Pacific Daylight Time.
Yeah.
So the night before the
Tournament starts.
tournament starts. Now, a lot of people will want to wait to see what the deck lists are, because deck lists usually get posted a couple days before, so they'll want to see who has the best deck list, things like that, and that's probably the smart way to do it. But I will not, because I've already picked mine, and it's going to be Bloodyface.
Yep.
I've said it multiple times in the show. I've tweeted it. If Bloodyface keeps trending like he has year to year, there's only one option, one outcome that's going to happen this year, and that's he takes it all, because he got second place to VK Lion last year. So
Yep.
if he does better than last year, he wins it.
That's right.
Now, have you voted yet?
I have. I picked Bloodyface as well.
Okay. So we don't have to talk about that much. The competitors we have are from the Americas region. We have Bloodyface and Monsanto.
Yep.
We have EU, Yarla, and Silvername.
Uh-huh.
We have APAC region, Bank Yugi, who is a rookie Grandmaster. Didn't get into Grandmaster system until season 2
Right.
of this year, and immediately qualifies. And along with him is Glory, who's been in there a lot. In China, we have Xiao Ti, who's kind of a staple in the Chinese circuit, and Sif.
Yes.
Now, if you don't know Sif, Sif is probably my second favorite in this lineup. And if it wasn't for Bloodyface, I probably would have voted for him, because Sif qualified through China's Gold Series. And he is the boyfriend of VK Lion.
Yeah.
So we could literally have a Hearthstone power couple in VK Lion and Sif if he is to win. So if Bloodyface doesn't repeat his trend and doesn't win, I hope it's Sif. And I would love to see Bloodyface defeat Sif in the finals.
So somebody on, I forget who it was, but somebody on Twitter earlier this week had tweeted they voted for Sif specifically so they could have his and hers championship trophies.
That would be really neat. That would be really neat. China has really stepped up their game, especially when you talk about Xiao Ti. Xiao Ti's really stepped up his game. Sif has obviously done well over there. The one thing that's been positive about China doing well in Hearthstone, and of course VK Lion taking it last year, is we are starting to see more Chinese representatives at our Masters Tour stops.
Yeah.
Sif competed. VK Lion was able to compete in one of them. The other one she couldn't because of travel stuff. This before they went completely mobile for all of the remote for all of the Masters tours. So I like that China's doing well, and I want to see China do well in the World Championships, and I'd love to see a China versus Bloodyface.
Yeah.
And Bloodyface, of course, win.
Right.
It brings us to our question: Who do we think is going to win it all, and why is it Bloodyface?
Because he finished second place last year and can only win it from here.
Yeah, and if you haven't gone to play Hearthstone and checked out their blogs, they've done a bio on all the different players, and all of the players were asked who do they think is going to win it if it's not them, and everybody said Bloodyface.
Yeah, yeah.
So he is clearly feared. He is clearly favored, and when Bloodyface strives is usually when the meta gets shaken up. We have a new set that just came out that hasn't been played in competitively yet. We also saw a bug fix to Nazmani Bloodweaver, which might be information enough for him to either expect to see it and counter it, or decide to bring Priest, which I know he's good with. Again, I don't have any inside information on Bloodyface. I the most I've spoken to him recently is to let him know that we support him, and we're ready for him to bring it home. I really think Bloodyface is. all of the stars are aligning to be in Bloodyface's favor. The only person that can beat Bloodyface, in my opinion, right now is Bloodyface.
I agree.
I would say the only weakness I've ever seen in Bloodyface has been, in some cases, a little bit of overconfidence in certain matchups. But that being said, he's won a lot of his matches in reverse sweeps. So just because he gets behind does not mean he's not going to win.
Okay. All right. Well, that brings us to this week's Tavern Brawl, which is Shake, Death Rattle, and Roll. So this is a repeat brawl.
Is it?
It is.
I didn't remember ever seeing this one.
Whole lot of rattling going on. Choose a class, get a random deck. Every minion you play will gain a copy of a random minion's Death Rattle effect.
So we've had this one before?
We have.
I thought it was new.
I remember this one. Yeah, I've played this one. So yeah, this is a repeat brawl.
It was fun. I think I got Proto Drake on a 2-mana minion. Popped a 7-drop out, and my opponent conceded.
Yeah,
and then I was done.
That'll do it. That'll do it. So, all right. Well, that brings us to this week's deck list.
Yeah.
As we mentioned back at the top of the show, Zerotio said he's been playing a lot of Pure Paladin. And the reason he's been playing a lot of Pure Paladin is it seems to counter Demon Hunter fairly well.
It does. Pure Paladin in general tends to beat Demon Hunter. And right now, the best Paladin is Pure Paladin. It just has... We kind of said before that Pure Paladin was good, but it's like it didn't have enough support in sets, and we expected the Pure Paladin... And when we say Pure Paladin, it's Paladin deck that has only Paladin cards, no neutrals.
Right.
And there are certain cards in there that benefit with having no neutrals in your deck. So we thought the Pure Paladin would be very good in a 6-set meta, and so far we're proven right. I'm looking at HS Replay statistics. It has no matchup under 50%.
Yeah.
The lowest matchup it has is the Paladin Mirror at 56%, which is weird how they get that number that way, because you'd think it'd just line up 50%. But the next one is Warlock at 58%. And then we have Rogue at 57%. So Rogue and Warlock, other than the Mirror, are the only ones under 60%. All the rest are above 60, and Druid's at 73%. So this is going to be the most consistent deck versus the field, and it's very good at an overall win rate of 62% over Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
And currently, I'm at I think right at a 60% win rate. I think I'm a little more than 60%.
All right.
I'm 33 and 20.
Let's run down
62.
the deck list, and then I'll let you talk a little bit about how it plays, and then we'll play a few games with it. So this deck list contains 2 First Day of School, 2 copies of Aldor Attendant, 2 copies of Hand of Adal, 2 copies of Libram of Wisdom, 1 McGurgle, 2 Shot Bots, 2 Goody 2 Shields, 2 Consecrations, 1 High Abbess Allura, 2 Lot-Forged Zealot, 2 Aldor Truthseeker, 2 Blessing of Authority, 2 Libram of Justice, 1 copy of Hammer of the Naaru, 1 Lady Liadrin, 1 Lot-Forged Crusader, 1 High Exarch Uriel, and 2 Libram of Hope.
Yeah, so you'll notice there's not a lot of new cards from Dark Moon. High Exarch Uriel is very good, and she gives you that late game sustain if you need it. And then the other new card is the Hammer of the Naaru, which is surprisingly really well. I ran 2 copies of this for a while, but then I realized along with the Zealots, that's a little bit much, especially at the 6-mana slot, so I cut back to 1. I was running 2 Light-Forged Crusaders for a while, but it seemed a little overkill. You only ever really need that 1 hand refill. to win the game. Its best matchup, in my opinion, is Demon Hunter, but right now Demon Hunter's in a weird position. You always want to mulligan for an aggressive strategy with this deck, especially against Demon Hunter. You want to try to get the consecrations in hand. You want those early drops to contest the board. If you see the Demon Hunter kind of focus on just clearing your board and not going to your face, you need to put the aggression on, because right now the two main Demon Hunter decks are Aggro and Soul Demon Hunter. Both are fairly aggressive. Soul Demon Hunter has some control tools, but there's a third Demon Hunter I've been running into a lot, and that is the Lifesteal Combo Demon Hunter. So the best way for them to beat you if you put on an aggressive stance is they have to use some of their combo pieces to clear your board. And if they use enough of their combo pieces, they won't be able to have enough lifesteal to take you down from 30 health. So I've lost to them a lot when I first started playing this deck about a week and a half ago. But I started learning that if I just push face, ignore whatever minions they have on the board unless they're a combo piece, then they have to react to me, and then they'll not be able to get their combo off. So that's how I've been beating that deck. It does have some struggles against Priest and Mage because they can have some tools to silence or polymorph your big threats that are low costed. Also, Shaman I thought would have a bad matchup, but I don't know if it's just the Shaman decks that are out right now. I'm kind of doing pretty good again. Not wonderful. I'm like 4-3 against them, but it's pretty consistent that they don't have consistent transform spells or transform cards available to them. And if you stagger,
you're talking about like evolve cards.
Yeah, like specifically revolve.
Okay.
If you're playing against a shaman, you want to stagger your threats out so that if they have to use a revolve, you can then put out another 8/8 taunt or maybe hold your wisdoms Libram wisdoms in your hand until the turn you need them so that you're not losing them. But if you stagger your threats against shaman, you can usually win pretty handily. And again, that was another matchup I lost at first, and then I learned how to beat it. Warrior's a weird one because if they are the ETC combo, then you can almost always lose that match. But I've learned if you expect them to do the ETC combo and you put out URL, they're running their rush minions into a lifesteal minion.
Right.
So any of the ETC damage they're doing gets negated.
Yeah.
I had one literally greet. I played Urel and had nothing traded to. I just played her. He greets me and then greets me and then greets me, and then he throws out his combo pieces, starts running into him, and started realizing that I was healing every time. He would do 6 damage to me, and then I would heal for 7. So it was totally just negating everything he was doing, and he conceded right away. So,
yeah.
That is kind of a counter. You have to be very good on your timing, and also have pressure, because if you don't have pressure, they just remove your URL and then do the combo next turn. But if you have other minions on the board, then that they can't trade into because she's a taunt, then maybe you can have a counter lethal and win the game. So again, it takes a little bit of learning the matchups.
Yeah.
But you can definitely pilot this to great success on the ladder right now. Now, I don't know what's going to happen between now and World Championships coming out. World Championships going to really throw off the meta because they're going to bring out new decks or different type of decks that we weren't expecting to be good in the meta, and we'll have to go from there. But if you want to go up the ladder well, this is a good one. Plus, there's also a quest to heal for a total of 100 health with High Exarch Urel.
Yeah.
and that gives like 500 XP. So
Yeah, it's a good boost.
yeah.
So you were off topic just a second. You were talking about the ETC Warrior.
Yes.
Yesterday's Trollden video.
Oh,
The newest Trollden video
haven't
that's
seen that
out
one yet.
as of Sunday, December 6th. There is a hilarious interaction of Trump playing against a guy playing that deck, and the guy goes to do his ETC combo, and he plays ETC,
Snipe.
damages it, and then double copies it with Blood Warrior, and then plays a broomstick, and Trump goes, "Huh, this must just be his concede play because he just blew his Blood Warriors on instead of using Rattlegore, so obviously he's losing." And then Trump dies, and you just see the look on his face, and he goes, "Huh."
I did see that one because I was like, does he not realize that's enough damage? Because he had a bunch of armor.
Yeah.
So I think he thought he was out of the range. But it does like 48 points of damage.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And talking about that deck, we might actually play that deck because I finally got ETC.
I have ETC
one of these weeks.
It looks good.
I don't think we played Warrior, but anyways,
we have not.
They were using Penflinger to damage ETC.
Yeah.
The problem is if you rush into minions that'll kill ETC, it lessens the amount of total damage you can do. They started using the 1 mana 2/1 that does the damage to a minion and gives it Divine Shield.
Oh, yeah. I know which one you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it.
The Seller or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, they started using that minion, and I'll find it here at one point. But they started using that minion. It's the Og Merchant.
Og Merchant, that's it, yeah.
They started using that minion because it gives it Divine Shield, which means that your ETC can run into a minion, which pops his Divine Shield, but he stays alive to do additional damage. It ends up equating to like an extra 6 damage, but it might just be what you need to win the game.
Yeah. So, all right. Anyway, moving on. That pretty much wraps it up for us this week. If you are joining us on YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast, and you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do so by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And we will see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
Alrighty.
There's achievements for that now.
Yeah, there are achievements for using your hero power.
That seems to be the most common quest I get too, is to use your hero power 20 times.
Hang on. Why don't I have? I'm showing 34. Oh, there we go. Just had to.
Yeah, it's been delayed lately.
Yeah.
It gets stuck on a blank screen.
All
you ready for me?
I'm ready.
Yeah, I've had some good luck with this deck. I've been playing some really wacky stuff lately.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Yashar's shaman type decks, or a lot of weird obscure OTK decks.
Yeah.
And a lot of mirrors.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of,
facing a Sith Lord. I love playing Sith Lord. Is the name of my opponent, Sith Lord.
Oh, gotcha. I missed that.
I've been playing a lot of Demon Hunters and Arthas. It's the reason I'm running Arthas is because Illidan says some really cheeky stuff to Arthas, and I appreciate it. I think we throw all this back. The Hand of a Doll is not fast enough
Uh-huh.
unless we had a first day of school in hand or an Aldor attendant. So I think we just throw it all back, hoping for first day of school or Aldor attendant or Murger or Shotbot.
Okay.
None of that.
So there's a Libram of Wisdom, but we don't really have anything to put it on except
Yeah, I mean,
a
the Libra
dude.
Wisdom's good with Aldor Trueseeker. This matchup is all about value because it's probably a Pure Paladin mirror.
Yeah.
It is all about value. He came out slow.
Oh, there's a top deck. Do we play
Good.
the attendant or do we hero power?
Well, if we attend it, we can attend it and Libra Wisdom it.
Okay.
So I think that's what we do.
Okay.
If we didn't have the Libra Wisdom, I might consider not playing the attendant. Though on 2 it wouldn't be too bad because it's not like he can coin into a Lightforged Zealot.
Right.
So now if he hero powers, I don't think he had a good hand, but he kept 3 of his 4 cards, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah, he's coining into a 3 drop, which is probably goody 2 shields. Nope. Aldor attendant into Hand of a Doll.
Okay.
He's coming right out of the gate saying, haha, mine's bigger than yours.
I think we just hero. I mean, we don't have a choice.
Yeah, we don't have a play here other than hero power.
I think we trade.
I don't either.
Because we can Lightforged Zealot that. The only thing that punishes us if we're not trading is if he gets another Hand of a Doll on it. If he gets he gets a Libra Wisdom, we can still hit it with the Lightforged Zealot.
Yeah.
If he Wisdoms and then runs into 2/4, it will still be a 3/4, and we can trade into it with Lightforged Zealot.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Okay.
So we have 2 options here. We can trade into the 2/4, the 4/2 with our 2/4, and Lightforged Zealot, and then get rid of the goody 2 shields.
Uh-huh.
Then he can make an even trade in with the Aldor attendant with the 4/2 on board, or we develop the Lightforged Zealot, clear the 3/4, and just go face. That means he has to trade, then cast a spell.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
And he has to do it in that order, or he'll waste the spell. Which we're probably going to play an Aldor Trueseeker next turn, so we can then pop the Divine Shield back off of it and play a Trueseeker to challenge the 4/2. We also have the option of doing the Blessing of Authority. That's actually good for us. We can run the Aldor Attendant into it, clear it with our face,
Yeah.
and then Trueseeker and Wisdom it.
Okay.
You like that?
Yeah.
We're taking some face damage, but we'll have the option of healing up with the Rooms of Hope later. So being a little bit passive, also aggressive and going to his face, but kind of taking our time allowed us to develop a much better board that he can probably deal with. He's probably going to need to blow a Libram of Justice on this taunt, and I'm perfectly fine with that because then he's not coupling it with Consecration on a big board.
Trueseeker. Okay.
Fine with that. Oh. So we can Hand of a Doll, then trade.
Uh-huh.
Then Lightforged Zealot and clear the 1/1 so he has nothing to buff, which he hasn't shown he has any buffs anyways.
Right.
Because if he had a Libram of Wisdom, he probably would have popped it. The only thing is he might have reduced a Libram of Justice pretty low. But, because it would be 2, which he would be able to couple with Consecration. But I still think that's the right line.
Okay.
You think?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's see what we draw. Oh, that's great.
Oh
So
yeah.
we trade, sell it, and if he decides to justice consecrate this board, he's not developing a board, and we still have a weapon, and that's a big tool for a board that's partly threatening, but not like a board of a bunch of 8/8s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So if we hit that with our face,
That'll put us at 16.
that's fine. If we hit that with our face to pop the shield, we can Blessing of Authority the 4/2. Trade into it.
Okay.
And then we can develop the Murger Burger.
Yeah.
We've got him in a position where he has to be reactory almost every single turn, and we want to keep it that way. I'm not playing the first day of school because I can do that next turn with no problems.
Right.
And, we might draw into a High Bessalora that we want to have a cheap spell with. That's a really passive start to his turn. I don't know if there's any 1-drops that help him.
Argent Braggart. Okay. Risky Skipper. He's going to burn the...
Okay.
Yeah. That's a 1-drop that helped.
I was wrong. We really need to get rid of that infectious sporling. So
Yeah.
I think the play here is Libram of Justice,
Uh-huh.
heal, use Libram of Hope to heal our taunt.
Clear their taunt, and then use the weapon to swing in and clear the infectious sporling.
Yeah, because we don't want him transforming ours into an infectious sporling.
Right.
But let me also see what 1-drops we can get. Nothing.
No.
Okay. It's here. We heal up taunt, getting us a taunt. Trade, and then we get rid of the infectious sporling.
Yep.
Now he could have some kind of play where he has a Libram of Justice and a minion, and then with the skipper, it reduces, but it's not in a way that he'll be able to go face with the braggart.
Okay.
Which is probably what he would want to figure. So that's the case. He doesn't want the braggart. Doesn't want the risk. Okay.
High Exarch.
Oops, second justice. Can we take 7? I think we have to take 7. So I'm thinking Libram of Justice, clear.
Yeah.
And then play the Hammer of Naaru behind it.
Okay. 7, 8. Okay. You could play the Frazzled Freshman into the Libram if you wanted.
I can, but would it be better to put 2 more health on the...
Well, yeah, probably.
Let's put 2 more health on that, and then let's put the Libram of Wisdom on the sidekick.
Okay.
Kind of give us a second option.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
By consecration or something like that. Surprised we haven't seen a single Libram of Justice. He's running the braggart. It's a pretty full hand. He does have some 1-drops he can dump. It's fine. Do anything. I think the weapon goes face every time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Trade into the 1/2.
Yeah. Go face with the 6/8.
So it's could be Repentance. So if so, we want to play the Aldor Attendant first. Yep. And Frazzle Freshman. And I just go face.
Yep.
Make him do it.
Of course, he has a handful of cards, and we're out of cards. Not a good place to be.
Authority. Yeah, that we need our Lightforged Crusader. I'd be okay with Librams of Hope. That is not the draw we need. We lose. There's no way around it. And really, a lot of times it comes down to whether you can get the most value. I think I said that at the beginning. And he was able his Lightforged Crusader. And he also got Librams of Hope, where we only got the one.
Right.
Well, he only got one, too, but oh well. Those matchups are tough. Okay, so, yeah, he is running Braggart.
Yeah, that Braggart was the swing turn for him.
Braggart's good in the mirror, but it's not good against so many other like, it's terrible against Shaman because they revolve it and it turns into another 2-drop.
Right. So
I haven't seen a lot of Braggart lists be successful, but maybe in the mirror it is, and he's losing in all the other matches. I don't know. Here's a Demon Hunter.
Okay.
Now, I said this is a good matchup against Demon Hunter. It's not an auto win.
Right.
You do need to make sure you're aggressively mulliganing. So I'm throwing all of this back. I would like to have the coin, but if we can get a 1-drop or a first day of school.
There's a shot bot and a goody 2 shields.
Yeah, the shot pot's a turn 2. If we had the coin,
right,
I would love this hand, but we don't have the coin, so we're kind of a turn behind. If he develops with the coin. Okay, so this is Soul Demon Hunter, so we have a little more time.
Okay.
I think the shot bot is the play. Because clearly the hero power is just the even trade. He's going to have to find ways to turn his hero power into 2. Is he just going to double trade?
Looks like it.
So we still have a minion on the board.
Yep. That we can Hand of a Doll, or you can play goody 2 shields here.
So we can Hand of a Doll it and trade, giving him a 4-2 to deal with. Or we can just trade it, goody 2 shields, while the 4-2 a Divine Shield he has to deal with, which we have Hand of a Doll and Murgurgle next turn.
Right. I like that, yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. And it curves out our mana better. I mean, one we have a 4-2, the other one we have a 4-2 with Divine Shield that can get Divine Shield again.
Yeah.
In the right scenario. Don't get so hung up on giving it Divine Shield again sometimes. Sometimes people make suboptimal plays by trying to make
Throw
sure.
Glaive. Nope. Mana Feeder. Okay, excellent.
Kind of excellent. He was smart because he did that so that we had to cast a spell and then trade.
Yeah.
So I think we cast the spell to give it Divine Shield and not trade.
I think we Hand of a Doll it and go face and play Shotbot.
Shotbot or McGurgle?
Oh, no, McGurgle's fine. Go ahead and get McGurgle Prime in the deck.
Is there any merit to first daying to school first to see if we can go a little wider?
Yeah.
If we get better 1-drops? No.
We did.
We did. So Shotbot or McGurgle?
McGurgle.
Okay. There's merit to holding your McGurgle so you have a higher chance of getting your other card so you don't water it down with a Murgur. But I think we're in this matchup, we might need the McGurgle on 8. I would like to see any of our Aldor cards, Truth Seeker or Attendant.
Okay, Twin Slice. He's gonna take.
He's
gonna take 2 more. Yeah.
But he's taking it, and that's the important part is that he's taking it. Like we just go wide.
Yeah, just play the Shotbot. Play the Acorn
I think we
Bearer.
just hero power.
I would hero power. I would hold the Timberwolf for the squirrels.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, it's still a 1/1, but for one, but we'd have a floating mana, and the Timberwolf can buff the squirrels.
Yeah.
It's just weird to have that. Oh, he still has two minions to deal with. I really think that Shard Shatter Mystic needs to be nerfed to 4 mana. Just go white again.
Sure. He used 2 AoE clears there.
Yeah, he did. We're just trying to stall out the game to get to the late turns so we can play Librams of Hope.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I'm not seeing a single Aldor card by now. And this, so I've learned with this deck, when I do poorly, it's because I draw poorly.
Right.
And a lot of that's because you're relying on Pure Paladin, where each card, it's a Paladin card, so each one's kind of has a job. Where you can't put neutrals in there to help you draw faster or get certain tools or be a backup mechanic. That's aggressive. We haven't played anything. I think we trade Consecrate.
Yeah.
Air Power.
Yeah, that's fine. That clears the board. And then, yeah, Consecrate Hero Power.
It's weak, but, I mean, it gives us... It takes 9 damage off the board.
Yeah. At this point, we're stalling 2 more turns to be able to hard cast a Libram of Hope, which sounds terrible.
But when we hard cast Libram of Hope, they go on the Lady Liadrin pool, so...
Yeah.
So now he's going to start trying to get aggressive, thinking he's stalled enough.
Right.
And he's partly right. We might have... Oh, I don't want a Lady Liadrin with nothing on the board. Or nothing in the stack.
There's an Aldor.
We've played Hand of a Doll, right? So that would be the only thing we get back?
Yes. Hand of a Doll is it.
We gotta use Lady Liadrin to get those Librams of Hope back. I think that's how we win.
Yeah.
Libram of Justice off the top. The Kingdom for a Libram of Justice. Libram of Justice. Oh, 1 card off. We just got to heal our face.
Yeah, I think you have to Libram of Hope this turn and probably Libram of Hope next turn. And then play Lady Liadrin after that.
Of the Demon Hunter decks, this is the hardest matchup.
Oh, never mind.
Is that lethal? That's not lethal.
No.
Maybe it's just lethal.
No, not quite.
Oh,
unless he has it in his hand. Yep, Mara
There it
Slosser.
is. We drew really bad.
We did.
We drew really bad.
You want to play one more since we've not really drawn great?
Yeah, we could do one more. First game, yeah, they just drew better than us. They didn't draw great in the first game, but they just drew better than us.
Yeah.
Which is all you need to do in a mirror match most times. Unless it's a Highlander mirror match, those get a little trickier. I have had great success with this deck, I promise. Still at a 60. I'm 33-22 with it right now. And there was a lot of testing with the meta. I'm very confident with this deck, but when the new meta comes in, you have to learn what to play around. Okay, so we have the coin. And we got McGurk, and we got a Hunter, which just isn't a bad... Oh, I'm 4-0 versus Hunters.
Okay.
So this is a good matchup. I think we keep this whole hand. Only thing I can think of is maybe throwing back the Libram Wisdom. But I want to coin into McGurgle on turn 1.
Okay.
He's not going to be able to deal with it. Then I can follow it up with a Hand of a Doll. Yeah, I'm going to throw the Libram Wisdom.
Then you don't have anything on 3, so yeah.
Yeah, let's throw back Libra Wisdom so that we can draw something for 3, and then we have Light Force Zealot on 4.
Okay.
I don't want to just Hero Power on 3, but I mean, if we have to, we have to.
Right.
So he has a way to deal with McGurgle. That's about his only way to deal with it, but does he, is the question.
Right. Or does he buff and try to go straight face?
And if he does, I'm fine with it. Because he does what I want a McGurgle to do anyways. He's stalled. He's trying to decide, do I need to run both of these in there?
Or do I buff them and go face?
If his plan is just a hero power or secret.
Going face, okay.
Now that puts us in an interesting spot. If that's freezing trap, it's a problem.
Yeah, but if it's that's the only thing it really could be, couldn't it? Be freezing.
I think
trap.
it's open to cages.
Okay.
So if it's open to cages, I want to trade into one of these. But I don't want to buff it first, because if I buff it first, then it's freezing trap.
Yeah. So run in.
Okay. I think it is open. Do we develop a 1/1, or do we buff it?
I say buff it.
It could be pressure plate, but I doubt it is. So let's buff it for the card draw, if nothing else. Yeah. I think that's open to cages. It could be explosive trap, and it could, since he's obviously playing aggressive, that was the right choice. Does he use it right away? If not, he's probably saving it for the 2/3, this Face Stalker.
Oh,
that's next turn. That's so good next turn.
Yeah.
So we traded to the 2/3 and then hero power?
I think so, yeah. It's the only thing we really can do.
And if open those cages.
Open the cages, yep.
Please send it all face. Please send it all face. Be the aggressive guy you really should be and just send it all face. Okay. Let's go half and half. Ooh, actually really smart by him.
Yeah.
Light Forge Zealot and clear the 2/1?
I think so.
He'll have to make a choice of using the Divine Shield on the 4/2 or using his face without getting an extra charge. Probably going to put up a taunt next turn. That's freezing trap. He goes face.
It is not freezing trap.
So I want to swing face.
Okay.
Give me 2 healing, one thing. A test for explosive trap.
Yeah.
Or play the Aldor Truth Seeker.
Yep.
He has to go through it. Unless it's freezing trap. It'll just hold it.
Okay, so it's freezing trap.
There has to be a freezing trap.
It has to be. So, do you consecrate here anyway, just to remove the shield and clear the 2/2? And then what do we then just create a token? Hero power.
That's an option.
Librum of Wisdom it. And pass the turn. Yeah.
But I think a better option is to Light Forge Zealot trade into the 2/2.
Okay.
And hold an attack.
Yeah.
And then hero power. And I'm not gonna Librum of Wisdom because if it is pressure plate.
Oh, okay.
The other option is just throw the second, try to trade it a 2/2 with the Aldor True Seeker, and then throw down the other Aldor True Seeker. Now I like the Zealot play.
Okay.
Take trap, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Oh. Pack Tactics. So not freaking trap. I probably ended my turn too quick. That's fine. I think we're still in a decent spot. Trades the 4/1 and 2 1/1s in, and he can send 4 or not. Okay. That's kind of inefficient.
Donna Tamer
Oh,
Brand.
Highlander. My first
Interesting.
hunter loss.
Alrighty.
Wow. I will say that these matches were not indicative of how I've been performing with the deck. But, you know, that brings it back to another common thing to talk about in Hearthstone is there are times you run on just some bad streaks.
Uh-huh.
And if right now I went 0-3 with this deck, it's horrible. And I didn't look to see that I've gone 33-23 with the deck at a 59% win rate. Sometimes you just get some bad strings of wins. You even lose favored matchups because of draw order, or
right.
That's just how card games are. So the important thing is not to get discouraged. Maybe you take a break from the deck, maybe you take a break from the game, but don't discount a deck just because you had a short burst of time where it didn't perform the way you expected to or the way it did before.
Right.
Because I didn't face any decks that I haven't been facing, and I didn't face any decks that I haven't been beating. I just happened to lose those.
Right.
I mean, obviously I'm at Diamond 3, so it's not like I'm buried at a floor. So I'm doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just power through it or take a break. Don't tilt. And remember, I'm going to steal this from Squelchcast. Hearthstone's a game, and games are meant to be fun.
That's right. So, all right, gang. If you have any questions or comments about the show, feel free to email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you haven't done so already. For more details about our Patreon, head on over to patreon.com/heropower. And until next week, good gaming.
Bye, guys.